So Harper, how do you feel after exactly a year spent here in Italy?
Well, that's what I'm here to talk about, I guess. It's been exactly 1 year since we moved to Italy. A lot of people ask me questions about how it's going, or maybe it's someone who wants to move to Italy too, and so they ask us for advice and stuff. For a lot of people, I think they're just curious to see if I'm doing okay.
If you survived,
if
yes,
I'm
you
surviving.
survived.
So we thought it would be fun to come and chat a little bit. And what I've done here,
You made a list?
where I've thought carefully about this, and I've listed the worst 5 things about living here, and the best 5 things so far about living here. Because one thing that drives me crazy is when people think that like moving to Italy is some sort of fantasy or dream and it's just perfect and everything's amazing. No, that's absolutely not true.
Italy, like every other country in the world, has its own problem, has its own difficulties. You need to adapt to a lot of situations that for us they are completely normal, but sometimes they can drive you and a lot of other people are crazy.
Oh yes. Even just a normal move when you're not moving across the ocean can be stressful. For instance, you will often find yourself having to find a new doctor. Never a fun thing to do, but that brings us, before we get into my little list here, to today's video sponsor. Do you remember how much fun it was when we had to find a doctor for you in the US?
It was so difficult.
But we would spend a long time looking online. You find all these different listings, try to find someone who isn't, hours away from you. You don't really have any idea if they're any good or not. You're just sort of guessing. You call their office, nobody picks up, you leave a message, you wait to hear back from them. They finally get back in touch with you just to tell you the doctor isn't seeing new patients right now.
ZocDoc is an easy and free way to find the right doctor for you.
Yes, ZocDoc lets you search for and compare local in-network doctors. They have listings for over 150,000 providers in the US, covering over 200 specialties. You can see tons of real patient reviews. And the best part yet is that you can just see when the doctor's available. On their listing, you can just see what their availability is and instantly book an appointment with a click. Appointments happen really fast, sometimes even the same day.
The best part is that ZocDoc is completely free to use.
Yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer. It makes your life a lot easier, and it's completely free to you. Looking back, we definitely wish we had ZocDoc back in the day.
With ZocDoc, everything could be so much easier.
All you gotta do is click the link down in the video description below.
And a big thank you to ZocDoc for sponsoring today's video.
Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do here is alternate. I'm gonna read one of the worst things I've found about living here, and then one of the best things. And we'll work our way up from the worst, from the
less worst
to the most worst, and from the least best to the most best. Does that make sense?
It's already confusing. I'm very curious to know what is written in this list.
Yeah, Ava has no idea. The number 5 worst thing about living here is the unavailability of ingredients and foods because of how seasonal everything is here.
I'm sorry, Harper, why this is a bad thing?
Well, hang on. Now, a lot of this, by the way, is going to be pretty specific to being in a very small rural place in, southern Italy. Probably would be different for, someone who lives in Rome or whatever. But here, most of the food is super local, it's grown locally, and what that means is that if an ingredient is out of season, you just can't get it. It's not like, they're better, like the strawberries are better this time of year. No, when strawberries aren't in season, you can't just go to the store and buy strawberries imported from somewhere else or grown in a greenhouse or something. You just can't get them. So coming from a background where it's like, if I want something, I can just go to the store and get it. Here, it's just impossible. It's like you have tomatoes in the summer, you have broccoli in winter. I know what you are about about to say to this, which is why I'm going to quickly jump into the number 5 best thing about living here before you freak out on me, because the number 5 best thing about living here is also the seasonality.
Yes, Harper, also because it's obvious that when something is in season, is cheaper, is much better in flavor, you have the excitement to wait until this particular product is coming back.
Yes.
So if
Yes.
now I'm asking you, now that more or less summer is approaching, are you excited or not for the fagiolini, for
Yes.
the green beans season?
Yes. Or the peppers. It was difficult to get used to because coming from an American background, I'm used to just like, oh, you know, I want raspberries, and you just can go to the store and buy them any time of year. And coming here where it's like, just like you have to only eat what's in season, but once you get used to it, I can't imagine going back because, you know, you might only have tomatoes in the summer, but they're the best dang tomatoes you've ever had in your life. And you're right, when you don't have something for most of the year, when it comes, it's really exciting. For instance, okay, we just left artichoke season. When they're going out of season, you're like, no, like don't leave me. But then as they go out of season, something else that you've kind of forgotten about because it's been a year comes back into season, and then you are like, oh, this is the best season. Every season is the best season. When you're in that season, you're like, I can't live without this food. And so that's why this is a weird one, in that it's one of the worst things about living here, but it's also at the same time one of the best things about living here. Okay, so the number 4 worst thing about living here is the mail. You know, we're in a small rural town, so often, especially like running a YouTube channel where maybe I need like a camera part or some special cable or something, you can't just go to the Wednesday market and buy it. So I often have to, you know, order stuff online. You can order something and it will arrive here, but that doesn't necessarily mean it will arrive at your house. Now, in a tiny town like this where everybody knows each other, the mail delivery person often will consider their job done if they've just gotten the package to the town. But that can mean with anybody in the town. I will have something that's supposed to be delivered to me, and I give my address and everything, and we live in a day and age, and I know that the delivery driver has a phone with a GPS in it, but often they will just leave the package with anyone, and so we'll get like a call from the bar, or the bank.
Or the bakery.
Or the bakery.
Or the florist.
The florist. Like, it could be like any one of the businesses in town, and they'll just call me back, oh yeah, I've got this package for Harper, like come pick it up. These aren't like, I know that they have those like Amazon delivery lockers or whatever. No, this isn't like that. It's just the delivery person is just like, oh, you're from Dasa? Here, take this package for Harper? Here you go, random person.
No, but they before ask if they know this Harper.
Yeah, do you know
when
Harper?
The answer is yes, I know.
Yeah, here,
okay.
you deal with it now. It has gotten better now that the delivery guys recognize my name, and so they're like, oh, this is Harper, I know where he lives. It has gotten much better, but now the further problem is that because they know me and they know that I'm related to your mom, and your mom's house is easier for them to reach on their route than our house, most of our packages still end up at your mom's house.
But by the way, I have also to say that those people, those delivery guys, because right now they know you, they know me. When they meet me in the street, they tell me, look, I left a package at your mother's for you. So.
The upside is that it's very like friendly and personal. Yes.
Or you can ask if you meet them, do you have something for me? So
yes.
It's very personal.
Definitely not what I was used to. Okay, number 4 best thing about living here. This one is gonna be very unsurprising that it's on the list, but I think it might surprise people how low on the list it is. So number 4 is just the quality and deliciousness of the food in general. I mean, it's pretty obvious moving to Italy that, you know, one would hope that would be, because I think
if that wasn't the case, here we have a huge problem, Harper.
a lot of people probably, if they you know, ever thought to move to Italy, a big reason would probably be the food.
I hope that is not the biggest, but one of the bigger reasons.
It is relatively low on my list though, partly because of the other things that are coming up on the list, but also partly because I just was very lucky in that I, even in the US, had you, if I can be quite blunt. I always had like just amazing Italian, not even just Italian, but especially Italian food at home. And so I was very, very spoiled even there. So obviously the food is amazing and it's a big perk about living here, but I've always been very lucky. So.
Yes, and I thank you for this, but it's also real that being here is much better in terms of quality of ingredients.
And the ingredients are a big thing. It's hard to realize really until you really spend a long time here where you're actually going to markets and grocery stores and cooking. It's one thing if you come to Italy and go to a restaurant and you're just like, wow, this food is really amazing. But until you're cooking with the ingredients yourself, you don't really realize how much it's like, oh, it's not like there's so much better cooks than me or something. It's that the ingredients that they're working with are amazing. And so this kind of ties in with the first one with the seasonality and everything, but just the quality of food is really, really good.
More in a small place like this, because if you are in a big city like Rome, Florence, yes, the food is pretty good, but there is the mass production also in it. But if you live in a small place like where we live, where actually your greens are made, I don't know, 20 meters away from your home, you have your local farmers, everything tastes much, much better.
Okay, third worst thing I found about living here. The others had some upsides, right? The seasonality obviously had a huge upside. The mail thing is a small frustration, and it's also kind of cute and charming, and there are some advantages with the personality of the mail delivery people, right?
This is all bad.
This one is all bad. I don't see any upside to this one, but it's gonna sound weird, okay? Notaries. Why do I say notaries? First of all, I would like you to describe your experience when we had to notarize something in America. How did that go? What was the process like?
You stay home, you do a video call, there is a person on the other side, it's a normal person. So they check on you, maybe, I don't know, 2 minutes, you pay a fee. Now, I don't remember how much is the fee, but it's something about...
Pretty much like 20 bucks.
$20. $50, but even if it was $50.
But it's not, it's 20.
And after 3 minutes, you are completely done and you are good to go.
Here's how notaries work in Italy. First of all, notaries are a very important position in the Italian bureaucracy. Being a notary in Italy means that like you have attendants who walk with you and fan you with, you know, banana leaves, and they have roll a carpet out in front of you, and the trumpets play anytime you enter a room.
And for sure, if you are a notary in front of your house, in your car, there is always written that you are a notary.
Yes, it's like...
You can see them, you can recognize them in the street.
Yeah, my father was a notary, and his grandfather was a notary, and his father was a notary.
Actually, it's what in Italy, and I'm sorry, but it's real, is what in Italy we call casta.
Caste?
Yes, because it's a closed job, it's a closed profession. It's not something, not everybody can become a notary. Officially, yes, but in reality, not everybody can become a notary. So usually it's something that you pass from generation into generation.
So when you need a notary, you first have to find one and make an appointment with one. ZocDoc, if you can make a service that helps you find notaries in Italy, that would be amazing. You have to make an appointment, which often you have to wait a long time.
We are talking about sometimes a couple of months.
Yeah, forget the video call thing that we do in the US now. You have to go into their office, and it is very solemn and very official.
Absolutely.
And they go so carefully through all the documents, and like that's not by itself a bad thing, but it's very, very slow. And then the biggest thing is that after all that, you pay an ungodly amount of money. Whereas in the US, a notary, even for something like buying a house, for example, will have a very low flat rate. I mean, like maybe you'll pay $100 or something, but it can be as low as, again, like 20 bucks, right? Here, notaries charge a fee based on the value of what is being agreed upon. So if you buy a house, for example, you are going to pay the notary thousands and thousands of euros.
Yeah.
Just to verify that you are who you say you are and that you've signed a document. Now, this is a weird one, of course, because you're probably like, but how big of an issue are notaries in your life, Harper? We are in a bit of a situation where we've had to deal with notaries a lot. So I'm not saying that like everyone who moves to Italy is gonna deal with tons of notaries. If you buy a house, for sure, yes. But because we bought our home.
We bought the mill.
We bought the mill, so that's already 2 properties, 2 notary experiences, too many. But then also, we have been involved in purchases that other people made. We've talked a little bit about this before, hope to talk about it more soon, but other people who are coming to Dessau and helping us with projects to purchase old, historic, abandoned homes and to restore them to their former glory. And so we have handled a lot of different property purchases and have had to deal with a lot of notaries. So it is a constant frustration.
Okay, before when I knew just this, for me it was pretty
Just normal, yeah.
Yes, because that is the notary figure. You have to do this. But then when I went in America and I discovered that no, not all the notaries are like the Italian ones.
Does it have to be this way?
No, so every time for me the frustration is maybe double, because I know that there is another way that makes the things much, much easier.
Moving on to something a little lighter.
Yes, please.
I know, the notaries are depressing. The third best thing is how easy and cheap it is to travel. This is a kind of benefit and perk that I didn't really think much about when we moved here, because, you know, when you move to a new country, you're kind of in the mindset of you're already traveling, but once you're settled in, you realize about this kind of amazing thing here. So even though we're in a very rural, small town, we are not far at all from Lamezia Airport and train station.
Just 40 minutes, so that depending when you live in Rome, you are, there is more distance between your house in Rome and
the airport in Rome than
what we have here between us and Lamezia.
And from there, you can take very cheap, convenient flights or trains all over Europe and all over the Mediterranean, almost on a whim, because sometimes like some of you might be familiar with like Ryanair. It's a very affordable, concerningly affordable airline.
They do their job.
Yeah.
They take you from point A and point B.
So far, we've gotten there safe and sound, but we've gotten tickets to like London, for instance, for 12 bucks, 12 euros.
If we want to go and spend like we did 3 days in Venice, it was pretty cheap, 30 euros round trip.
Well, Venice wasn't cheap, but getting to Venice was cheap.
From Lamezia, you can fly all, as you said, more or less all over Europe.
But also just all around the Mediterranean, for instance, in just a couple hours, and for very little money, the flights were super cheap. We were in Egypt. So anyway, love how easy it is to travel here. I love the train system. I much prefer it to traveling by planes. I think the trains are super cool. Love it.
I don't really like the train in Italy.
Because for you, they're normal. But coming from a place where we don't have a very good train system throughout the country, and so the only other option other than planes is like buses, and trains are just so much better than buses. It's like,
I love buses much more than trains.
it's crazy.
I love buses much more than train.
That's literally crazy.
I love you.
Leave a comment.
What's the Greyhound?
Greyhound. See,
yes,
Ava, as a European, she like romanticizes buses and like Greyhound buses.
I love them.
You're so crazy. To be cramped in a bus seat as opposed to on a train where you have a table and space and you can walk around.
I still have one of my best memory with my mom, because me and my mom by ourselves, we made a trip on the Greyhound from New York to Quebec City. It was amazing.
Please leave a comment down below informing Ava how just objectively wrong she is. Fourth worst thing about living here, and we'll work our way up from the worst, from the
less worst
to the most worst, and from the least best to the most best. Does that make sense?
It's already confusing.
Fourth worst thing about living here, and this one is very relevant because it's something that I am really only now having to deal with.
Maybe I know.
Do you know what this one is?
Maybe I know.
This is the Italian driver's license. Let's do the same thing we did with the notaries. When you got your American driver's license, what was the process like as someone who has driven their entire life and already knows how to drive?
So what I had to do was going a day to the DMV. I paid $10. I sit there in front of a computer. I took the test. I passed the test. Then the day after, I went back to the DMV without paying any extra dollars with our own car. I took the test, the driving test, and then I passed and I gave my driver license without going to school, without being worried. The book that I studied, because I said the book was
book.
It was 20
the pamphlet.
It was 20 pages.
Mostly pictures. So when I moved here with a brand new international driver's license, which lasts for a year, but you can, renew it very easily. The thing is, once you become an actual resident of Italy, your international driver's license works, but only for a year. So once that year expires, you can't renew it. You have to get an Italian driver's license. And mine expired a few days ago. I could have dealt with this sooner, knowing that this day would come, but I procrastinated. So now I have to really buckle down and try to get my Italian driver's license, because right now I can't drive. Getting an Italian driver's license is a little bit more difficult.
But just a little bit.
Just a little bit. There is no, like in the US, it's like if you already know how to drive, you can just go and take a test. Here, you have to go to school. And you have to go to school like starting from the very beginning. So I have to go to school with probably a bunch of children, teenagers, kids. And the school will be entirely in Italian. My Italian for normal, everyday conversations is good. It's passable. I can talk to people, no problems there. But when you're talking about like the vocabulary of like road signs and signals and driving and all this stuff, it's like that I don't know anything about. It's not stuff that I use in normal everyday life. So that's gonna be fun. And you stay in the driver's ed school, if I understand correctly, pretty much until the instructor thinks that you're ready to take the test. My dad actually, who lives in Rome, he just got his license for the first time. He had to spend months in the school until the instructor thought he was ready to take the test. And you start with the written test, which of course is in Italian. Then of course there's the driving test. That's the part I'm least worried about because I know how to drive. I'm worried about the written test. Also because my dad told me, he's like, yeah, it's not like easy questions.
No, it's not easy question. It's like they try to trick you. Yes, because they want to be sure that you studied the book, that is not 20 pages. It's a book of...
It's like a textbook.
It's about 300 pages that you need to learn in order to pass the test. While in US, the driver license, it costed me $10 and I could go several times. In Italy, it's a little bit more expensive, so the price is about 800 to 1,000 euros, and you have 2 chances. So if you don't pass with these 2 chances, then you have to repay all the fee. Study, it's time to go back to school.
Wish me luck, guys. Okay, number 4, best thing about living here. That would be Sunday lunch.
Yes, it's pretty amazing.
Many of you might be familiar with the concept, also because it's common in a lot of cultures, but I think increasingly less so. It was probably very common in the US in the past, and also slightly depends on just the culture of where it's from. Like, you know, other religions and cultures have like different days of the week where they had a similar sort of thing. But I think in kind of the modern world, it's sort of dying out. But here is a very, very strong tradition. For those who aren't familiar, Sunday lunch is a big, long lunch with the whole family that happens every Sunday. You go extra all out on the food. That's maybe when you cook the food that really takes more time to cook, or that's kind of a special occasion food. That's when you go all out and you make, like, I don't know, lasagna or something like that.
Ragu.
Yeah, something that you wouldn't...
Pasta handmade.
Yeah.
In our culture, is a special day. It's the day in which you don't go to work, the kids, they don't go to school, so you have time actually to spend with your family. And because family in Italy is as important as food, that is the day in which you cook the best food. You spend the day with your family, chatting, checking on them, how was the week, talk about things, organize for the next week.
Yeah, you spend most of Sunday lunch talking about what you're gonna cook for the next Sunday lunch. Even though, like you and I, for instance, when we lived in the US, we could have Sunday lunch, it's different when it's just the 2 of us. You know, it's nice when you have multiple generations of a family all getting together. And it's also really nice how everyone in the town is also doing that. There's something, like you walk through the street on Sunday and you just smell the most amazing, like you smell ragu, you smell people frying things.
You can tell what they're going to eat.
Yeah.
Those are going to eat pitbull, those are going to eat ragu, those are going to eat lasagna.
Yeah, and like when you pass someone in the street on Sunday morning, you don't say buongiorno to them, you say buon appetito, because everyone knows, like, yeah, you're gonna go home and you're gonna eat. Yeah, and it's something that I always liked as a visitor, but it's something I've come to appreciate more, and it gives like really good rhythm to the week, and it's like this thing that you build up expectation for.
Because otherwise every day of the week is always the same. There isn't a difference between a Wednesday or a Sunday, when actually there is a difference between a Wednesday and Sunday.
Yeah.
So Sunday should be celebrated.
Or any day, pick a day, you know. But
it's like, okay, for us it happens Sunday because with the Christian culture is Sunday, but it can be Saturday, it can be Wednesday.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those really nice things that it's so easy in the 21st century where we're all busy and all working and stuff to forget how important it is to put time aside for like family and food and stuff. And man, it's something that
makes life a little bit better.
Yeah, and I
now he can't renounce.
Yeah, I can't imagine living without Sunday lunch. Yeah. Okay, we come to the 5th. I don't want to say worst thing, and you'll see why in a minute, but I would say the most difficult thing to adapt to, and I don't really know what to call it. It's related to time and schedules and routine.
Okay, I understand.
I think you know where I'm going with this, right? Again, kind of talking about living in the 21st century where we're all very busy and we're all very work-focused. That's how I've been for a really long time, is like, you know, very focused on like, I need to get this done, and very like work. Everyone always talks about like the slow pace of life in Italy. I don't think that's fair, actually. I don't think that's accurate. It's not so much that it's slow, it's maybe like stop and start.
See, maybe sometimes it's a little bit actually more...
Much faster, actually, in some ways.
It's not really slow.
Yeah, but it's different.
Concept.
The rhythm is different. Here, there is a lot of time spent daily on mundane social interactions. So for instance, all the time, almost constantly, there will be people who come and knock on your door and just to like chat, just to say hi. And the idea is that they come in and you sit down and you offer them something to drink and you chat for a while and you talk, and that's just normal. And it will, you know, happen like multiple times a day. Or if you're, say, walking through town and you are maybe your idea is that you need to leave the house to go on a quick errand, you need to run to the store to grab something important, but you're busy or something, you will meet like 10 people along the way who you stop and chat. Oh, like, how's it going? And you talk about this and this and this. A lot of time is spent on these things. Coming from the busy go, go, go culture that I did, this was extremely difficult to get used to. And you know, I came from a place where it's like, it's very normal to be like, I'm busy.
See, here you will be the rudest person in the world.
Yeah.
To say, I'm busy.
Like, I can't stop and talk to you. I'm
busy.
sorry, I gotta run.
If it's something that, for example, you have a doctor appointment and it's something that is very important, okay, you can say, I'm sorry, I need to run because I have a doctor appointment in 5 minutes. But just saying I have to.
But you can't just be like, I have a lot of things to do today.
See,
no.
People will look at you and say, okay,
yeah.
You are a very rude person.
Yeah. You, I'm sure, remember how, and this started even before I moved here, but even just when we spent a lot of time here, and you remember how difficult it was for me to get used to, like, and me trying to understand from you, like, yeah, but I have things to do, you know, right? Like,
and for me, it was so difficult to try to make you understand how important it was.
Yeah.
To put on aside those things that could be just delayed for a little bit because.
But, and this is sort of like the seasonality thing, because this, I don't know what you want to call it, social time, routine thing is also at the top of my list of best things about moving to Italy. So basically what happened with me was I realized I can't survive here if I try to force and impose my old way of life, my old attitude about like work and being busy, all this stuff. So I started looking around. How do other people get by? What do they do? And what I saw were a ton of people who were just always willing to drop what they were doing for someone else. That can be everything from, like I was talking about, sort of little mundane social interactions. Oh, somebody knocks on your door, invite them in, have a coffee with them, a glass of wine, sit and talk for a while. But also in bigger ways, like, oh, somebody needs my help. You know, I'm just gonna drop, I was super busy, I had a lot to do, or I'm working or something, you just drop everything and go and help that person with whatever they need. And so I decided to just like try to say yes to everything, which maybe sounds like some sort of kind of like Zen platitude to always live in the moment, man, or whatever. And never in my previous life would I have even contemplated living life like that. And I'm certainly not perfect at it, and I definitely have my moments where...
Actually, you're not struggling anymore.
Well, no, I'm just saying, you know, I would be lying if I said I never had moments of like, oh gosh, like, you know, like, but the more that I do that and try and let go and just go like, oh, like, you know, I had this plan for my day, but this person just knocked at my door and I'm just gonna like say yes to whatever they present in my lap, you know, whether that's they need me to go help them with something, or they ask me to go pick strawberries with them, or they just wanna come in and chat, or there's something going on in the community and someone asks for help or something, some event that I had no idea was going on, and all of a sudden it changes the course of my day. And the thing that I found is that the more I say yes to those things, the more time I find actually to get my own things done, and the more I get back in surprising ways, Like, it's not just like, oh, I helped this person, so then they maybe help me with something. It's even deeper than that. It's like, oh, I went and like, you know, Johnny knocked on my door and asked if I wanted to come pick strawberries. And normally I would be like, no, I'm way too busy. I don't have time to go pick strawberries with you, Johnny. But I said yes, and then I ended up having this like amazing adventure day, or learned something new that maybe even turns into a video or something. Like, you never know.
I come from this kind of approach where, yes, in the morning you wake up, it's obvious, it's not that we don't work, we work. But there is always a moment in the day that you can put your things on a side to help someone else without being worried, oh, I can't do this or that. It's just so natural, because you know that there will be a moment maybe in that week or in that month in which you will need something, and you know that those people will be ready to put on aside what they are doing to come and help you.
I've just found that the more that I let go of my own preoccupations or my own ideas of like, you know, this is how my day should go or this is how my plan should be, the more I let go and just go like, whatever happens, happens, and I'm just gonna follow with whatever opportunities knock on my door. The more I get done, ironically, and the better those things are, and the more rewarding they are, and the more involved I am with the community.
So, this year, it was a positive year or a negative year?
I think my shirt maybe speaks for itself. No, it's been an absolutely incredible year, and I thank my lucky stars every single day. I just really hate the notaries. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little reveal of how my first year in Italy has been going. Before we go, a quick shout out to Guido, a pasta grammarian, who made an incredible looking casatiello.
Guido, our compliments, because when we saw that picture, the only thing that I thought was, I want a piece of that.
He said that it weighed 4.5 kilograms.
This is the way to go when you make the casatiello. You understand the concept.
If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you'd like to support the channel, check us out over on Patreon. We'd love to have you join the community there. All right, guys, we'll see you next time.
Ciao.
Ciao.